Hey there, it's Kelly Sienkowski with Potomac Local News. In 2018, our newsroom reported on the arrest of Jonathan Wrenn in connection with the Stafford County homicide case. He later served time for his role in that incident, and today we're sitting down with him as he prepares to graduate from Columbia University with a degree in computer science in 2 weeks, after years of rebuilding his life, both personally and academically. This isn't a story about erasing the past, it's about understanding what happens afterward and how what it takes to move forward. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me this morning.
Yes, thank you, Kelly.
So, like we said, you're getting ready to graduate in 2 weeks from Columbia. Are you excited?
Yes, very excited. I've been in school for about 6 years now, so it's been a long journey to graduate. So I'm very happy.
What's your degree going to be in?
Computer science.
That's very exciting. So, Jonathan, if somebody met you today, what would they not guess about your story?
Yes, I mean, I think if someone met me today, they would not um really, they would be surprised by the fact that, I spent many years incarcerated. I spent many years rebuilding my life and really transforming who I am as a person to be in the position I am in today.
So let's talk about that. What happened in 2018? You were involved in a situation where someone did lose their life. Looking back on that now, almost 10 years later, how do you reflect on your responsibility in that?
Yeah, I guess for me, I think that it all really starts kind of from the beginning of my life. I was born to parents who were incarcerated in prison at the time. So then that led me to be raised by a family friend who raised me as her son, as a single mother with the help of her grandparents. And I kind of always carried around the stigma of like being the kid whose parents were in prison and had substance abuse disorder. So that really kind of followed me throughout school and really kind of made it difficult sometimes when friends' parents would like question me and things like that. So I kind of struggled with my identity and I struggled with behavioral issues in school. And then when my mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer around the time I was 15, I really kind of fell into a dark hole. And the only way I knew how to cope was to, you know, just continue the behavioral issues of, skipping school and now hanging out with friends in the neighborhood that, smoke marijuana and cut class. And then it just kind of really picked up and got gradually worse as I got older to where, now my friends that I grew up with are, carrying guns and involved with gangs and, distributing illegal drugs to kind of fend for ourselves and be able to provide for ourselves since, our family dynamics were really kind of broken and we didn't have a lot of opportunity. And then it unfortunately led to that incident in 2018 where neither of us expected that to happen. Neither of us wanted that to happen. We both feel extremely bad about it to this day. And it really changed the trajectory of my life and
Mhm.
made me realize that the people I was around and the things I was doing were not going to lead anywhere productive. It was just going to lead to a long life in prison or death. And so I really, in that moment, knew that I needed to change.
So you mentioned you spent several years incarcerated. How did that correct your behavior? Because while you were in jail, you could have made the choice to, make more adult connection or not use that time to improve your life and your future. What was that experience like being incarcerated and knowing you wanted something more?
Yes, I think the experience being incarcerated as an adult was much better. I mean, I'm sorry, not much better, much different than being incarcerated as a juvenile. When you're a juvenile, you kind of have different support services around you, and you go to school during the day, and you are able to, talk to your family members and seek counseling and kind of get your life together in a sort, even though you're incarcerated in a juvenile facility. But then turning 18 and then this incident happening and going to an adult facility, none of those things exist. There's no school, there's no really supportive services. They're extremely short staffed, so there's no mental health services. You're just really left to kind of sit with your thoughts and really suffer in a way. And so um, that really woke me up and made me realize that I was not a kid anymore, that these were things that were, affecting others' lives as well as mine, and that I was being, a burden to my community by not being a productive member of society. And so I really began to have those thoughts and wanting to change. And then unfortunately, as I mentioned, my adoptive mother that raised me was diagnosed with terminal cancer when I was 15 and then raised me with the help of her grandparents. And so both my grandparents ended up passing away during that bout of incarceration. And my grandmother's last wish to me on the phone the day before she died was for me to pursue an education. And so I set my sights on that and said that would be, my biggest goal and my main motivation when I get out to change. And I will just ride that until the wheels fall off, and then hopefully good things will happen.
When you did get out, what kind of hurdles did you face just trying to find a place to live and apply to colleges? I mean, being incarcerated and having a record can be a bit of a barrier. And by bit of a barrier, I mean a huge roadblock. How did you overcome that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was fortunate enough to when I was released, my mother was out of the hospital. She'd been in and out of the hospital for the past couple of years. Her leukemia had stabilized enough to where she was able to come home. So then I lived with her while on house arrest, and then COVID-19 happens 2 weeks after. So then it's very difficult to be on house arrest with a mother who cannot walk, is legally blind, has no way to get to the grocery store or do any sort of really things that every person needs to do to take care of themselves. So um, that was a very hard time, but I immediately, as soon as I got out, enrolled in community college, complied with all the probation and all the requirements that I needed to be able to quickly be released off of house arrest, so that I could help take care of my mother and be able to do the things that she couldn't do. And yeah, it was difficult. I was worried about community college not even accepting me due to my record, or how I would even then eventually transfer to a university if I wanted to due to my criminal record. And so, but I just focused on community college classes in the meantime. And Germanic Community College is great. They're very supportive. They're very helpful. Gave a lot of great guidance. And so then I also found work, luckily through a friend of mine I went to high school with that I reached out to and said, hey, trying to change my life. I've worked there as a summer when I was a kid. I was hoping you guys would give me, another chance, even though, considering the circumstances. And so luckily, his father used to be my soccer coach as well. So he knew me since I was a young kid, and they luckily lived close. So he would in the morning pick me up because I didn't have a license. I wasn't allowed to have a license as part of my um, charges and requirements. So I would ride with them every morning, and I'd go to work, and then I'd come home from work and help take care of my mom and do community college classes at night. And it was really a good way to keep me kind of occupied and moving in the right direction and just staying focused on what I needed to do to continue to be better and grow.
All of that. I mean, but during the pandemic as well. So everything was shut down and locked down. So that's even more of a hurdle that you were able to work through. So you moved forward, you did community college, and then you headed off to Columbia. How has that experience been?
Oh yeah, experience has been amazing. Never really, I'd never been to New York before Columbia. I'd never thought about Columbia before. Um, I really decided to come here. Well, I guess that's not true. I guess I never thought about Columbia when I was in like community college until I did a program through Columbia, is what I meant to say. So before I did the program through Columbia that a mentor recommended to me, I didn't know what it was. It took me a few Google searches after someone had said, "Hey, I think that's a really good school," to realize that it was an Ivy League school. And so, luckily, after completing that program, which was Justice Through Code, which was a program that teaches formerly incarcerated people to code that I did the night classes for while I was in community college. The professors and the staff urged me to apply to Columbia because they thought that it was a good fit for me and they knew I was trying to transfer to a great university, which for me for a long time was UVA. But then I realized I did not want to major in finance at UVA and I wanted to major in computer science after learning to code. So then I decided to come to Columbia University and yeah, it was a big change coming to New York, a lot different than Fredericksburg, Virginia. But I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. Felt kind of like a real college experience to go 5 hours away from home and really have to build an entirely new community and make friends and join extracurricular clubs and do all of the things that I always wanted to do when I envisioned being a college student.
You've done well there. You were named a senior marshal, which is one of, I think, Columbia's highest honors. You also got a change agent award for the things that you've done to help other students on campus. What tell us about that, helping other students who've been impacted by the system?
Yes, absolutely. I was part of the small group that ended up leading to the founding of the System Impacted Scholars Club. And so that's really a student group that is made up of about like 42 plus members so far. And it's for students who are impacted by the criminal justice legal system or foster care or the immigration system or any, kind of systems in the United States that can be detrimental to people. And so that was great to help kind of the formation of that club and then serve as vice president because we do a lot of events around campus to raise awareness of kind of these issues and just to educate people. And we've collaborated with Yale and Fortune Society, which is a large nonprofit in New York City, and a ton of other great organizations to bring, some really fantastic speakers in and kind of try to educate the future leaders of America. A lot of students at Columbia will go on to be very influential judges or politicians. And so we felt like it was a good opportunity to kind of educate people about these issues and put real faces in front of them so that they could understand these issues from a personal level, not only from maybe what they read in class. So it's been a great club. It's gone very well. That was really a cool thing to see that come to fruition and happen because it all started from just impromptu meetings of people at the school that knew other formerly incarcerated students that would connect us and we would meet weekly and just chat. And then we thought, hey, we should just go ahead and make this a club. So it was cool kind of to build a community that way and really rallied a lot of support from the supervisors that helped us make it happen as well as do some of the events I mentioned. So it was really a great thing to see for me and probably my proudest accomplishment at Columbia.
Mhm. Okay, it sounds like a very strong support network for people who may need. I'm sure you probably don't have a lot of options, say in Fredericksburg, to reach out and connect with people who specifically have already been incarcerated. So building that community at Columbia sounds like it would just benefit everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. I will say that I was fortunate to have great relationships with um, Failsafe, which is a local reentry organization in Fredericksburg
Yeah.
that I think does a great job of connecting people who are formerly incarcerated in the area and kind of offering support. And um, yeah, so I kind of was trying to build that same community that I maybe had in Fredericksburg a bit in New York, but on Columbia's campus specifically, not just the like how it was in the greater Fredericksburg region. So,
I'm like you did. Jonathan, what's coming up next for you? After you graduate, what's the future?
yes, so I will be working full time as a software engineer at Rasa Legal, which is a social impact legal tech um, startup. I know it's a mouthful, but I love to. Um, and so, what they specialize in is criminal record expungements. So, making it affordable and accessible. So, it's a really cool company where we automate a lot of the process of criminal record expungement with AI and cutting edge technology to take the cost from using a defense attorney for $5,000 to $10,000 to get a charge expunged to $250 flat fee. So it's really exciting. We'll be going into 4 states every year. I'm hoping one of those very soon will be Virginia. I'm not sure if you're aware, but it passed, and in July 2026, Virginia will be getting a clean slate bill where people will be eligible for criminal record expungement or sealing. And so when states pass these bills, we kind of come in and automate the process to make it really affordable and accessible for everyone so that people can eliminate barriers to housing and employment, and really try to help improve their lives. So it's a great company. I'm happy to be kind of bridging my two interests in terms of technology and social impact. And so it's great to work at a company where I know I'm going to be helping a lot of people.
Jonathan, there's some people who will hear this story and say that it's really inspiring. How does it feel to know that you've come so far from where you were back in 2018 to now?
I mean, it definitely feels great. I'm just happy to have been able to fulfill my grandmother's wish and to be able to hopefully make my family proud and help more people than I've ever harmed during my dark times, and hopefully, inspire a little Jonathan out there or someone who hadn't seen someone like themselves kind of overcome the barriers that we face sometimes, and know that they just need to shoot for the stars and be the best person they can be, and good things will happen.
That's a great message to end on, Jonathan. It sounds like you've made amazing changes in your life, and I think your future sounds like you're going to be helping a lot more people, and you're going to continue changing the world one expungement at a time. So, thank
Yes,
you
thank
so
you,
much for
Kelly.
taking the time to talk to me. For all of our viewers, I'm Kelly Sienkowski with the Potomac Local News, and that was Jonathan Wrenn. Take care and have a great day.